I Legacy the Legend with another vid. This one's about how Pinnacle made me rewrite my verse. Um, it was kind of humbling, actually. It was really a humbling situation. When you're a hip hop artist, oftentimes especially when you are working with a lot of really good MCs, I wouldn't say oftentimes, but you're made to rewrite a verse periodically, and sometimes it's not even their decision; it's your decision. You spit on this verse, you spit this verse on this song, and then you heard everybody else's verse, and you're like, "Dang, bro, I can't go out like that." And this is what I would say before I get into this story: is that if an artist likes you, reveres you, respects you, and they hear you spit some whack shit, even if you thought that was tight, they should ask you to rewrite it because they are not letting you go out like that. And I have to think that Pinnacle felt that way about the verse when I dropped it the first time. He had to be like, dang, I'm not letting Leg go out like this. This is Legacy the Legend with another story. Look, Pinnacle came to Arizona, and I can't exactly remember how he became part of our circle. I do remember someone in a group talking about Pinnacle, saying this guy is tight, this guy is dope. And Pinnacle already came to Arizona with a lot of hip hop prowess about him. He already had his style down, he had his look down. He was Pinnacle. He's currently named Whitt Tucker. He changed his name to Whitt Tucker. But when he came to Arizona, he was Pinnacle. And he had this swag about him. Let me say it like this. When he first came, it was more kind of like a down south, southernish, T.I.-ish swag about him, about the way he rhymed. But even saying that, his bars were tight. The boy could rap. He could rap fast. He could rap slow. The boy could rap. But he did have what I describe as kind of a white boy sound, and not a whack white boy sound. I mean, we know that white boys aren't whack today. Maybe if we went back into the 90s, white boys are considered whack. We're way past that. We have a whole gang of white boys who can rap that are underground and above ground. So when I say a white boy sound, it's not a diss, but there are sometimes a difference between, you can sometimes tell by the content in the music whether it's a black rapper and a white rapper, and or the way that they lay out songs or what they put in their songs. You can kind of tell if it's a white rapper and a black rapper. So even though he had a kind of sound that was similar, not exactly the same, he was Pinnacle. He stood on his own. But sometimes as an artist, you got to be able to know what fan group is going to gravitate to your music. It helps for promoting. It helps for marketing. So if you are one of them artists who's like, I don't sound like anybody, there's nobody that has my sound, you're going to disrupt your marketing altogether. Figure out what artist's fan group is most likely to gravitate to your music. When it comes to Pinnacle, I say T.I. There's others, but T.I. is the first to mind. So he sounds like T.I. a little bit, similar to T.I. His sound is Pinnacle, Pinnacle. But some of the subject matter and the things he says is kind of like what I would describe as white boy rap, if that makes any sense. This is no, white boys don't jump on me. I know white boys could rap. You know what I'm saying? Mexicans could rap. Native Americans could rap. Asians could rap. We black men could rap. We all could rap. Okay. So Pinnacle got this song called Stupid, and he wanted me to get on it. And this is the crazy thing. Look, when Pinnacle came to the crew and I heard him rap for the first time, yo, I was like, this dude's going to blow up. A couple of people that I thought were going to blow up a little easier than others. I thought we all would get there, but I thought the path for some of them were going to be easier. I thought Pinnacle was going to blow up. I thought emcee was going to blow up a little easier. I thought their path to blowing up, and I'm not talking about famous superstars. I'm talking about just millions of streams, that sort of thing. I thought their path was going to be easier, bigger crowds, that sort of thing. I know everybody in the crew had the potential to be major with millions of streams, big crowds, and all that kind of stuff. Especially me, I mean, we revere ourselves too, but I thought Pinnacle and emcee were going to be like out of here, out the gate, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And let me say this before I go on. Had I known what I was doing back then, they would have been. We all would have been. But I'm sure Pinnacle's sound was just crazy to me. Oh, Debo? No, not Debo. There's another rapper. He's from Chicago. He's another one, a black dude. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, he was another one that was going to blow up super fast. And like I said, had I known what I was doing back then with the music, with the marketing, all that kind of stuff, they would have. We all would have blown up. We all would have millions of streams by now. We all would be collecting checks from our money at this point in time. But I didn't know then. I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know then, unfortunately for us. And before I go on, let me apologize to my team, because my team really counted on me to acquire the necessary information for us to start pulling in money from our music. And I just never acquired that information. My goals were set on throwing shows. I thought that's where it was at. I was ignoring the business, the behind the music business side for the shows. I wanted to collaborate to put together the biggest and best shows. And that was my fault. Had I to do it over again, we would have focused on behind the music, the streams, the royalties, and all that kind of stuff. But I digress. Back to Pinnacle. So when Pinnacle came, I thought he was just dope. I was like, this dude is out of here. This dude's going to blow up. And I wanted to do a song with him. Now, me, the way I do, I don't have a sound. I really don't have a sound. If I did have a sound, it would be hype choruses, because I wrote all my songs to perform at shows. I love crowd participation. So I wrote my choruses to encourage crowd participation. Something hype, something memorable, something that's going to stick in your head, something that you can gravitate on to by the if this is your first time hearing the song, I want by the second time the chorus comes on, you know that chorus and you can say it with me. That's how I wrote my songs. But when it came to the verses, I wrote however I felt at the time, and however that beat and that song made me feel. I wrote that type of cadence. I don't have a specific cadence of my own. I don't have a specific draw of my own, or anything like that. I just, sometimes I'm hype, sometimes I'm calm, sometimes I'm slow, sometimes I'm a little faster. I'm not a fast rapper, but sometimes I can rap a little faster. I would rap a little faster depending on what that beat gave me. So when Pinnacle came with the song Stupid, I was just like, shoot, this is going to be dope. This is going to be dope. And immediately fireworks start going off in your mind. Bars start popping up. Boom, 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 boom. You're writing down the bars that not necessarily writing the song yet, but when you hear the beat, you're writing down, oh, dang, I want to throw this in there. I want to throw that in there. That's how my mind was moving. I wanted to throw that in there. So then, you start writing your verse. Boom. My first Stupid verse, I wrote it rather quickly. I wrote it because I wish there was a different way I could say this, because even when I'm saying a white boy sound, even though we know white boys are dope rappers, entertainers, etc. We've seen many of them at this point in time in history. It kind of sounds like I'm putting shade on it, but I'm not. But I'm just going to talk like I talk. Fuck it. If you want beef, I want all the smoke. All right. So it was my first time getting on a track that had a white boy sound to it. I've been on tracks, of course, with black dudes. I've been on tracks with Mexicans. I've been on tracks with white boys before, but not one that I thought had a white boy sound to it. And I was elated. I was ecstatic. I couldn't wait to just rip it down, right? So I put some bars in there that was kind of funny, comedic bars. But I thought it went with the song. I was just like, this is going to be fire. I get to try a different way of going at it because that's what my mind was coming up with when I was listening to the beat and listening to his verses. I was like, ooh, this is going to be fire. I get to the studio. I think Pinnacle is going to go crazy about this song. I be thinking this about people. I be thinking people are going to go crazy about my verse. But then when I drop the verse, people be straight faced. You know what I'm saying? So I think Pinnacle is going to go crazy about this song. And this is a day that I probably was getting off of work and I was going straight to his house, to his studio. And boom, put on a beat. I drop my verse, boom. And Pinnacle's like, yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, like he ain't excited or anything like that. And that threw me for because I thought I put some bars in there. So I forget exactly how that, you got to understand, this is like 15 years ago. I don't know, maybe 10. It was a lot of years ago. I forget exactly how the verse went, that first verse, but I thought I killed it. I really did. I really thought it went with the song and went with the flow. I thought I wrote it really well. I was like, dang, this is fire. My first kind of white boy song. And I wanted to be on more white boy sounding songs because I thought I killed it, right? So I left the studio that night and I get a call from Pinnacle later on that night or the next day. Can't remember exactly which one. And this is what I respect, man. First of all, if y'all have not gone to Spotify and listened to Whitt Tucker, you guys are missing out on great music. Whitt Tucker is his name on Spotify. He has some amazing tracks, he has an amazing catalog. Go listen. And he's made his way around Arizona. But this is what I love about the dude. You got to understand, like, he's new to the crew. He's the newest person in the crew. The crew, we have a foundation already. We've been in the studio 100 times with each other already. We've written songs. We've been performing for years at this point in time. He's brand new to the state and to the crew. This dude cares about his music. If you care about your music and you care about who you're doing music with, tell them to rewrite the verse if the verse is whack. All right? I still don't think my verse was whack. But calls me up and he's like, yo, Leg. I was, basically, I'm just paraphrasing. I was listening to the song and I need you to rewrite your verse. Bro, I thought this dude was going to be like, yo, Leg, I was listening to the song and we got a banger. This dude said, I need you to rewrite your verse. I went from here to here, but then I went back here. So it was a quick drop because once again, my expectations were not what was popping right now. It wasn't what he was asking. He wasn't calling me to say we got a banger on our hands. He was calling me to say my verse is banging and your verse is trash. My verse is up, your verse is down. My verse is killing them. Your verse is sucking the life from them. That's what he was calling to tell me in his words, right? And you know what? like I said, I went from here to here, but I went here because I respect it so much. I respect artists that care about their music, even if it makes you rewrite your verse. It's 16 bars, bro. Of course I'm gonna rewrite it. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like it didn't fit, of course I'm gonna rewrite that joint. And you could have just kicked me off the song. He didn't kick me off the song. He wanted me on the song and he said, rewrite the damn verse, bro. It was nothing for me. So I went here. I was here when he called. I dropped when he told me to rewrite it, but I went here because if there's anything I can do, I could write some rhymes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I've heard people get upset when they're asked to write a verse. I've been asked to write a verse a couple times in my life. And I hear people get upset when they're asked to rewrite a verse. Bro, we write rhymes. We write rhymes. I listen back to some music that I've done with some other people, and I wish they would have asked me to rewrite the verse. I am embarrassed because once again, I was trying to fit within the song. And when I go back and listen to it, oh my goodness, it was gross. And some of that music is on Spotify. You could probably find it if you look for it. I'm never going to tell anybody about those songs. Never. So anyway, boom. I spent about 30 minutes, rewrote the verse. But instead of leaning into kind of what I felt was fitting the white boy style, I kind of leaned more into legacy, just writing a fire verse. But I wanted to balance. I still wanted to kind of lean into the white boy style, but I wanted more legacy in there because to me, that's how the song flourished. Anyway, I wrote the verse. I killed it again. I killed the verse once again. You know, I thought I killed it the first time. I killed it the second time. And this time when I spit the verse, Pinnacle had a smile on his face. He wasn't straight faced. He wasn't thinking. He wasn't contemplating and planning how he was going to call me and tell me what to say, how to say what he needed to say to me. It was, okay, that's legacy. And the song is Stupid. It's called Stupid. It's on Whitt Tucker on Spotify. I suggest you go listen to it. It's a fire song. And I want to say, hey, thanks, Pinnacle. Thanks for keeping it real. You're my brother. We're still going to have to do music together. If I ever get back into the studio real heavy, we're still going to have to do some more music together. And I was happy to rewrite that verse, and I will rewrite any verse for anybody in the future if you think it's whack. But 99% of you guys are never going to think a verse that Legece The Legend drops on your track is whack. Let's go.